What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within. Now in this one we're covering Jewelcrafting, the profession, in the War Within from the alpha, and based on that there are some things that might be changing before this goes live, and we could even see some changes before the alpha or before the beta, basically between the alpha and the beta as well. That being said, I do want to talk about what we have access to right now in Jewelcrafting on the alpha for the War Within, and as I am a gold maker slash gold farmer, I will tie this a little bit into gold making as well, and taking a look at all the specializations we have access to, even though we only have access to 3 right now, and based on what we're able to craft and the recipes we have, I do think there should be a 4th one available over here as well. Either way, let's get into it. So the first thing to note is that whenever you're doing crafting, I've talked about this before in pretty much every profession overview video, but we have something brand new called concentration, which means that you can spend concentration to guarantee the next rank of your craft. So right now I'm crafting an item, I'm doing crushing, and this one has a recipe difficulty of 265. I only have the skill of 176, so in order for me, like right now we're crafting rank 2 with a chance to get rank 3, but I can use my concentration to guarantee rank 3. So if I put something in here now to start crushing, we will get rank 3 on every single one. That being said, I will also, actually it's not even applying concentration right now, so never mind, but usually when this works, you would then apply your concentration, and you would get rank 3 every single time, but you would also spend your concentration, even though that's not working right now, but basically you would spend 36 concentration per craft, and as you can see in the top left, we have 500 charges, so you would spend 36, and when you don't have any left, you can't do it anymore, and then they recharge slowly over time. Now, for jewelcrafting in itself, it's much of the same. You're crafting gems, you're crushing stones to get the gemstones. So for example, the crushed gemstones here, you're crushing gems in order to get those gemstones, you're doing prospecting. Now you can make a lot of gold by both crushing and prospecting, by the way, especially once you reach the skill point required to get the highest tier whenever you're crushing and whenever you're prospecting. Now, skill also used to play a part in prospecting in Dragonflight, doesn't seem to do so right now. That could be an alpha thing, but we'll have to wait and see. We also have something called inverted prism that we can craft, combining all the gems and something called a null stone to make an inverted prism. Apart from that, we have the gilded vials that we can also make, that jewel crafters can craft these, and they can then be sold on the auction house, and they can be sold to people with alchemy, for example. So you can make gilded vials, and you can maybe make them cheaper than the actual vendor price as well for the vials, and you can proc multi-craft on them, have resourcefulness on them, and they're really easy to craft. And it's also going to be the only way to get rank 3 vials, because the vendors sells you rank 1 or tier 1. Now, when it comes to making gold with alchemy, for example, it's the same thing over there, that when you use a higher quality material, you get more skill points. So in order to make a higher quality flask or a higher quality elixir, you would want to use rank 2 or rank 3 materials. In this case, jewel crafters can make rank 3 vials, which alchemists can then use to make the highest rank elixirs possible. So there is a really viable gold making strategy in just making vials, literally making vials with jewelcrafting and making gold through both getting rank 3 and proccing multicraft. Apart from that, once again, we have the whole gem stuff, so you make gems the normal way, and you unlock more and better gems as you go through. You can also make the magnificent jeweler's setting, adding 1 socket to an amulet or ring, and jewelry can have up to 2 sockets. So you can also make this one, which is tradable, by the way, so you can sell that one. And yeah, overall, jewelcrafting is a lot of the same with a couple of new additions. Now, let's take a look at the specializations. So the ones we have access to right now is gem cutting, specializing in cutting and polishing the specific Castle-Gar gemstones. We have jewelry crafting, specializing in the art of amulets and rings, using various techniques found in Castle-Gar. And then we have shaping, improving the practice of extracting jewel crafting reagents in a usable state and utilizing them in specialized crafts. So taking a look at this one first, we can view the skill tree right here. Here we have what's called a shaping. This one gives you +1 skill when crafting all reagents per point spent in the specialization and giving you multiple bonuses as you go through. Now, apart from that, you can go into some sub-specs here as well. One of them is called Masonry, improve the ability to craft gemstone-based reagents or stone-based reagents, gaining +1 skill per point spent and unlocking various different bonuses while going through. At the end, it teaches you the recipe for the prismatic null stone as well, which is an optional reagent. Now, on the other side, you can go into glasswork. This one gives you +1 skill when crafting glass reagents or crafting things based on glass reagents, and once again, various bonuses, and teaches you the recipe for the elemental focusing lens optional reagent. Apart from that, you can also go into gem finding. As you can see here, you get +1 skill to crushing per point spent in the subspecialization, so now you can start getting higher quality, higher quantities, and just more stuff whenever you're doing crushing. And once again, we have various amounts of bonuses coming through here. So for example, you have a small chance to receive additional reagents when prospecting. You now have a chance to uncover gem dust of an equivalent quality to the ore that you prospect. So if you prospect a tier 3 ore, you can get a tier 3 gem dust. And on the final one, you now have a chance to uncover an amber as an additional byproduct when prospecting. So you get a lot more gold whenever you're doing prospecting and whenever you're doing crushing. Apart from that, after this, you can also focus on sapphires. So this one, you now have a 1% chance to acquire a sapphire instead of an amber when prospecting per point spent. So here you can choose which one you want to focus on. You have the sapphire, the ruby, the onyx, and the emerald. So you can focus on the one that you want, and in this case just focus on the one that sells for the most gold. So if you want to make gold with prospecting, you need to have gem finding, you want to have all 40 points spent in gem finding as well, and then you want to focus on at least one of these, but maybe even plural. Now in the next talent tree, or the next sub-spec tree, it's called jewelry crafting. In this one, you get +1 skill to all jewelry designs per point spent in the specialization, and you unlock various bonuses while going through here as well. And then after you've done that, you can specialize into either amulets or rings. In this case, you will learn to craft something, like you will learn to craft an epic ring right here, and an epic amulet right here as well, and unlocking various amounts of bonuses while crafting necklaces or rings based on which one you decide to specify into. Now, whenever you're crafting those epics, do keep in mind they will be bound on pickup, but you can always make them for people on the crafting orders page, so people can still buy these from you, and the higher qualities that you can make when it comes to, if I can find one of the epics, for example, the binding of earthing, the fracture, and the ring right here. Going over to recipes instead then, so we have the ring of earthen craftsmanship, 590 item level. If you can guarantee this one at the highest rank possible, that's going to be 597 item level on that one. Now that also requires a lot of skill in order to do, but if you can do that and guarantee the highest rank, you can get a really significant cut whenever you are crafting that for people on the crafting orders. Next up, we have gem cutting. This one specializes in the cutting and polishing of specific Cas-Algar gemstones, and going into the full tree, this one is absolutely massive. You first of all get +1 skill whenever you're cutting gems, and after that you can focus on certain gems. So you once again have sapphire, ruby, then you have onyx, and then you have the emerald. And the thing here is that whenever you learn, for example, go into emerald, you can learn how to cut deadly emerald, which gives haste and a smaller amount of critical strike. If you want to expand your if you want to expand your jewel crafting recipes, definitely get as many of these as possible, because once again, you literally only have to spec into emerald, and when you learn a subspec, you can learn the subspec for free and get the gem, and then start making the gem. Now, if you want to get more skill while making a specific gem, you can put talents in here as well, or put in some knowledge points in here as well, but I would say just focus on getting the first one to 50, then get the other ones to 30, while learning everything else. That way you can expand your jewel crafting recipes as well, and you can make more gems. And yeah, that's basically it. Now there is one that I think is missing here, and that is based on jewelcrafters being able to make professional equipment. We can make tier 2 and tier 1 for that case. We can make tier 2 enchanting focus right here. We can make inscription tier 2 glasses, which is a inscription accessory by the way, tier 2 inscription magnifying glass, and jewelcrafting tier 2 helm. Likewise, we can make enchanting tier 1 focus, inscription tier 1 glasses, the magnifying glass once again for inscription, and the jewelcrafting head. Now for the greens, these can be sold on the auction house, and you can actually make a good amount of gold by crafting greens as well, by getting the highest rank. So that would be 556 item level in this case, and you also want to proc it with the right stats. So for example, quills with multicraft usually go for a lot, or did back in Dragonflight at least, and you can also make some gold on the tier 2 ones, even though they are bound when picked up. So in order to make gold from these ones, you would have to go to the crafting orders and either get people to put in a public or a personal crafting order for you to fulfill. Now, based on us having access to those professional equipments, I would say there should be one jewelcrafting specialization lacking here that focuses on professional equipment. So that could be the case, in which case you will have 4 to choose from, but for now these are the 3 we have access to on the alpha, and hopefully I was able to showcase some of the gold making aspect as well of jewelcrafting. You basically just have to make a choice. You have to either go for jewelry crafting or gem cutting or shaping, and then just stick to your choice, because the knowledge points you will find, they are very limited, and unless you go into gem cutting, like going into gem cutting, you will learn 12 recipes, which gives you 12 more knowledge points, but you will have to spend a lot of knowledge points to get to that place as well. But a lot of your recipes comes from here. So when it comes to jewelcrafting, you have a very limited amount of first time crafts available, which also means that you will have very limited amounts of the knowledge points in order to spend. So I would say have 1 jewelcrafter for cutting gems, have 1 for making jewelry, and have 1 for prospecting. Now you don't have to go into all those avenues by the way, but I would say specialize into one thing, rather than like going into every single one. Now, I would say that having 1 for not disenchanting but prospecting is absolutely massive, so go for shaping. Just get enough skill points to go down to gem finding, max out gem finding, and then pick the most expensive gem and max that one out as well, and then go back into shaping and max that out for the additional skill points over there as well. And then you can just start making gold by crushing and prospecting, and you could probably make a lot of gold from that really early as well. Either way, that's my video on making gold with jewelcrafting. I will have a lot of updated gold making guides when the beta comes out instead of the alpha, so we can test more stuff, and we have probably some fixes from the alpha to the beta, and I will probably make updated videos on that as we get closer to the War Within launch. I do also have gold making guides for Season of Discovery, Cataclysm Classic, and I'm working on one for the War Within as well, so if you want to check out my gold making guides, they will be linked down below, and I'll be posting updated in detail posts about gold making in the War Within and every version of WoW on my Patreon page. So TLDR, if you want to make more gold in the game, check out my Patreon or my gold making guides, and if you do, thank you so much. The support means a lot, and I will do my absolute best at helping you make gold. We had ways to make tens of millions in gold in Dragonflight at the beginning, and we'll be emulating those ways and finding the most broken ways to both farm gold and make gold in the War Within as well, and I'm sharing those with you guys. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it useful, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, it really helps me out. Leave a comment as well which professions you think will be the best ones to make gold with in the War Within. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon.